Hey guys, welcome back to Delete Everything Patreon. Our topic today, a series of murders in New England last week are raising some eyebrows. Two local politicians in Sugar Hill, New Hampshire, found shot by a dumpster behind a cheese shop, and a land development CEO in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, shot by a dumpster in the parking lot of a Home Depot, are showing evidence of being linked. The evidence? A lack of evidence. Clean execution-style shots to the head, no shell casings or fingerprints have been discovered, and no DNA evidence was left behind at either site. Ironically, Riley, you were in New England last week, right?
Nope.
Did you hear? No?
Nope.
What?
Wasn't there. Didn't do it.
Well, I mean, no, of course. You were in New England last week, right?
Nope. Wasn't there.
Okay, but you sent us like multiple texts about the things you were doing there.
Nope. I was joking. I have been at my house the entire time. Any bits of insight or travel information, even photographs I may have sent you, are incidental and all part of a hoax.
Okay. I feel like you killed Did you kill those people?
I said already that I didn't do it. I don't even do that. I don't have any government contacts. I'm not a hitman.
Okay. Who the fuck said anything about the government?
You did it. You did just now. Shut up. Fuck you. Okay? I didn't fucking kill those people for the CIA. I don't even know if they were using their political office to railroad anti-environmental legislation into the area. The fuck do I care? I don't give a fuck if they put up another ski lodge. I don't give a shit. They can sell state secrets to Moscow all fucking day for all I care. It's not my fucking problem. Get the fuck off my ass.
Dude, are you a hitman?
Yeah.
Welcome back, you boring nerds, to Delete Everything Podcast, where we, the most interesting guys you all know, are going to illuminate the forgotten, omitted, and otherwise deleted parts of history entirely for the benefit of making you all less fucking boring. You're welcome. I'm your Grand Marshal, Patrick Wall. With me, as ever, my debonair co-host,
Riley Bowen.
And today we have our stool boy, producer Drew.
Hello.
Stool boy. He brings us our stools. Is
that kind of stool? Okay.
Just walks around shitting all the time.
That's my old job, stool boy. I don't do that anymore. I'm out of the ER.
Well, thank you first and foremost to all of you who have left ratings and reviews, specifically on Apple Podcasts. Also on YouTube, we've gotten some cool stuff on there. If you guys have not swung by our YouTube page in a while, you should go check it out. We've put some fun stuff on there. And if you haven't done a rating or review yet, you should. It's kind of like the only way for us to continue building and gaining popularity. So if you don't mind taking a second, if you're sitting there thinking to yourself, somebody else will do it. I promise you, I would not talk about this every week if we didn't need you. So pretty please, with a cherry on top, just hook us up. Beyond that, check out our Instagram at Delete Everything Podcast, where you'll find pictures to correspond with this and every other episode. And if you want to chat with us, or if you have a show topic that you think would be good for the show, email us at deleteeverythingpodcast@gmail.com. And finally, have you checked us out on Patreon? We have got nearly 50 bonus episodes on there, plus new ones every single week, and they're kind of a flipping blast to listen to.
Bonus episodes? I thought we called them boners episodes.
You do?
I do that. I have to toss that joke. They don't. The other guys don't really love that joke, but I have to throw it in every third or fourth episode.
That's Patrick. I love that joke.
Yeah, it's a good one. Boners episodes, I think that's legit, right? Yeah. Speaking of boners, big welcome to our newest Patreon subscriber, Haley.
Haley, yeah.
Hey, thanks for
Haley just recently joined us. I hope you're enjoying it, Haley.
Haley, hit us up and we'll send you a package with signed photographs and stickers and stuff.
Haley, you've probably noticed that we are typically semi-delirious when we record those episodes. That's because we are semi-delirious when we record those episodes.
Yep.
So anyway, you get all of that. All the 50 episodes plus new ones every week, $8. Do you ever DoorDash food? You pay more than $8 after all the extra service fees, delivery fees, driver tip, all for what? Some fucking soggy ass food that was in some jabroni's 2000 fucking Toyota Camry with trash lined floorboards. It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Make a fucking sandwich. Subscribe to Patreon.
Or just go get the food yourself and don't pay, forego the extra $10, $20 in service fees
I used to have a 1999 Toyota Camry.
with trash line floorboards.
Yeah, it was real bad.
Yeah.
It was all fucked up. I only drove it like a little bit. I got it for like $200 or something. And I liked it because it was super loud. It was like, and it was one of the kinds of car that they used in the Fast and the Furious. So I always felt like a late 90s shitty drug dealer who was like driving his busted ass Camry.
I legitimately don't. And this is going to be a real long-winded kind of diatribe here, but I don't DoorDash or Uber Eats food or any of those services. Because after a couple times of people driving up in just fucking absolute shit heaps and pulling my food out of their car from a restaurant that's 15 minutes away, like growing up in the service industry, working in like bars and restaurants and stuff like that, I've been in enough sloppy ass cars that are like roach infested and shit like that, that I'm like, absolutely not. I don't want my fucking vehicles stay relatively clean. Not impeccable.
I ordered shit like that constantly.
Gross.
Yeah, it is one of the biggest personal expenses that I have that I count as like a convenience fee for myself, is that when I'm traveling and shit, or if like yesterday I'm just real tired and don't want to fucking do it, I will just order Taco Bell.
Ugh.
It's cheap. It's like $20,
Yeah, but it would be like
I haven't found
10 if you went.
Dude, if I'm going to find a bug in my food, it's going to come from the Taco Bell.
That part's true.
I don't.
It would be $10, $11 if you just drove there.
Yeah, but I have to go there, and I'm stinky from work. I got to shower first.
No, you do not have to shower to go to Taco Bell. I'm just saying.
Just to roll through the drive-thru.
If I'm
Get it on your way in.
Yeah, that's all fair, but I don't wanna. I want to get up and go out there when I could spend an additional $4 to have it shipped to my door.
$8+.
Dude, no, it's $4 fucking, there's no...
Well, now you ruined his fucking
you
intro.
ruined my whole spiel. Thanks. Well, you know what, guys?
Spending more,
don't get our Patreon because Riley only pays $4 for DoorDash.
I said
from Taco
an additional because there's no delivery fee from Taco Bell and I'm tipping like $4, but I really end up spending like $25.
So get the Patreon.
Yeah, you get Patreon 3 times over for that.
I think I already had a spiel where it was like, you just can't have Taco Bell one day
I'm sorry,
a month.
just do it.
Yeah, thank you.
But I like the convenient future of being able to have shit delivered to me. I'm so fucking sorry. I'm so sorry that I can utilize some of the things that exist.
Yeah, the first time I go to meet a driver outside and I hear like the cans rattling around as they get out of their car, I'm like, nope, your car's gross and I don't want my food in it.
It's not even that for me. I have an issue with spending that money.
Well, here's another thing.
Also, yes.
Here's another thing.
When especially if it's 15 minutes away.
You know another car that's gross? Mine.
That's true.
So
your car stays pretty gross.
Yeah, I live in it.
Yeah.
I drove across the country 4 times this past month in that van.
You want to know a really cool hack?
Clean your fucking car.
Clean it out. Clean it out one time. Yeah, clean it out one time, and then every time you stop, every time you finish a drive,
just throw out the stuff
you
that's
grab
in there.
anything that you just added,
man,
and it just stays that way.
You never thought of that, did you, Riley?
No, I didn't. Never thought of cleaning my goddamn car.
So, hey, guys, this is our first day back in the studio in like a couple of weeks.
Fuck you.
Like 2.5 weeks. Has it been 2.5 weeks since we've been in the studio?
Yeah, it's been something like that. Something like that. In a world of experiential activity
How's
in between.
life?
I don't know. It's fucking weird. Life.
Yeah, same.
I think the Earth has entered a sphere of bad for everybody.
Yeah, everybody's going through some fuck.
Actually, Drew's doing
shit.
okay.
I'm doing great personally.
Yeah, that's cool. But I mean,
the world around me is crumbling.
Yeah, that's. Actually, I'm also doing pretty well, but I just got to deal with like a lot of
You got some
now.
fucking crazy personal shit going on. I've got some crazy personal shit going on.
I recently lost my leg it was saving a busload of orphans from a fire.
Yeah.
I woke you up after your surgery.
Yeah,
I was one of the orphans, and now I'm covered in 3rd-degree burns.
Did I get the kids out? And he said most of them, and I went, and I cried, and I didn't even care about my leg.
So I now work in the post-anesthesia unit. It's not post-euthanasia unit, Riley. My brother has this idea.
Post-anesthesia?
The Disney movie?
No, the actual princess that got gunned down in the basement.
Oh my god.
My brother has this idea, especially on Halloween. I think I'm working Halloween this year, where I should put on an ant costume, like antisthesia.
The insect?
Wow.
And then I should be like, oh yeah, you've been asleep for like 50, 60 years.
Everyone's ants.
Everyone's ants.
It's just real obvious Halloween
Some
costume.
old ladies just like,
Well, it's really interesting. They don't remember coming in. Even if they're wide awake, they won't remember. I've never been under anesthesia, but it's like time travel.
You don't remember, you don't remember your first few minutes of coming out either.
Like, people don't remember meeting me, and they'll ask me the same question several times. You just got to kind of reinforce, and then they'll eventually but sometimes I think they forget the whole meeting me at all.
Yeah, I've been under anesthesia, and I don't remember the first several minutes of being quote unquote awake, but I mean actually interacting with people. My son had to go under anesthesia one time, and I have a video of him when he came out of it, and he doesn't remember any of it. So
right, it's not even necessarily they put you to sleep. They turn off parts of your brain.
Yeah,
and they use amnesiacs like propofol or whatever, so you don't remember the surgery, so you don't remember feeling any pain if it does creep through. So it's more like jumping to the future.
They don't that you can still feel the shit, you just don't remember feeling it.
No, they also give you
that is a hot bit of goss there about the medical industry.
There are stories of people who don't get
who don't go fully under
correctly. Yeah.
And it's possible, but I think some of the amnesiac agents that they use would wipe out that memory. But there is a part of maybe some people's brains who remembers getting sliced into.
I think that if I was awake, paralyzed in anesthesia, like that Ryan Felipe movie, then I would be like, fuck yeah, I could take it, because I sit real good for tattoos.
I think that obviously
is one of my hand hurt a lot, but I didn't even move, man.
That's obviously an over-dramatized version, because if you were cognizant but paralyzed, your fucking heart rate would go bananas.
Like that movie Law Abiding Citizen,
where the guy's head blows up.
No, it's the one where fucking Gerard Butler has some guy
doesn't he have?
He has him tied to a table, but he's got him paralyzed. But he injects him with adrenaline, so his heart's and he's like, your heart is beating.
Oh, that's
so
right. Yeah.
And then he's like, I want to cut off your penis.
That was a crazy movie.
Never seen it.
It was a good flick.
It was a good movie, but it's very fucking brutal.
Weirdest thing about that movie is that you go almost the whole movie rooting for Gerard Butler, and then you realize that the hero is Jamie Foxx, who plays a real shithead lawyer, and you're like, aw.
Is he a lawyer or a cop?
He's a lawyer.
He is.
He sucks. He's a fucking
he's like a
amoral,
DA.
will cut any deal, let murderers go. And then at the end of the movie, the end of that movie is essentially saying yeah, it's better to be an immoral fucking dickhead lawyer than it is to be a man fighting for justice.
Goddamn.
I like the part where you get to see Russell Crowe naked.
That's not that movie.
Yeah, it is.
Somebody compared me to Russell Crowe.
Whenever they finally find him and they come to his house,
that's
and he
Gerard
gets
Butler.
Or I meant that's what I meant.
You're
Gerard
thinking
Butler.
of Michael Mann's The Informant, starring Al Pacino.
Gerard Butler. My bad.
Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
Some old lady said I look like Russell Crowe the other day. I don't know how to feel about it.
I could see some Crowe in there.
Young Russell Crowe is pretty handsome.
Young
Old Russell
Crowe
Crowe looks like a fat piece of shit.
Yeah, but he carries fat piece of shit real good. He does it the way that I would like to look like an old fat piece of shit, Just fuck it, yeah, but I'm still cool.
Hey, do we have a topic today?
Yes.
What are we doing? Consults computer screen. Boring Man, Crazy Life Part 2.
Today is Boring Man, Crazy Life Part 2. If you reverse back to I want to say it's our 10th episode, Boring Man, Crazy Life, we discussed 3 people. It was LSD enthusiast Timothy Leary.
Yes.
Crazy fuck, madman drug addict
John McAfee,
and then amazing philosophical German doomist director Werner Herzog.
Yes.
All of them had a through line of being outwardly boring while internally having these wild lives.
At first glance, they're...
Or actually, more accurately, I would say McAfee and Timothy Leary were inherently in themselves boring men.
Yes.
Even if you couldn't see it, they were projecting a facade.
Even if you look at their, I guess, let's call them contributions to society, whether good or bad.
More like contributions. Those guys suck.
Those contributions seem innately sort of but then you look at the lives surrounding those dudes, and it's Jesus.
Yeah. Well, you look at Timothy Leary, and outwardly it's oh man, this underground drug rebel scientist, psychologist guy who's kind of changing the world. And then you read some of his interviews, and you're like, well, this guy's dumber than fuck. This guy blows.
Yeah.
He's sitting at John Lennon's fucking bed in with flowers in his hair at
gross.
50, high as shit on LSD. He's like, dude, what are you doing? You go fucking hang out with your kids.
Yeah.
You suck. There's another one. John Lennon. John Lennon also sucks.
Yeah, I
Anyway.
think that's pretty well known.
So based on that, we did the two guys that were boring but looked like they were exciting, and then we did Werner Herzog, who looks very boring and presents outwardly as very boring, but actually is the most interesting man that's ever lived. So sort of like flipped it and did a little juxtaposition. This one also is going to do that. I've got two figures in history. One is actually a kind of unbelievably important figure in societal and government history of the past 100 years.
Okay.
And another one you would think of as a particularly like innocuous side note, but he also made claims of being one of the most interesting people of all time.
Okay.
So
I'm ready.
Today we're going to be looking at Kim Philby.
Kim Philby.
Yes, Kim Philby. Harold Adrian Russell Kim Philby, who was born in 1912.
Wait, that's her name?
It's a him.
It's a him.
Him. It is Harold Adrian Russell, quotes on the radio, Kim Philby, born in 1912, died in 1988.
Okay.
It was Kim to his friends. He was nicknamed Kim.
That's an interesting nickname.
He was a British intelligence officer during World War II and the decades after, heading the espionage desk during the Cold War and directing the British clandestine operations involving the Soviet Union for England's MI6.
MI6, okay.
He also headed the foreign operations desk out of Istanbul and eventually took the MI6 desk in Washington. Sorry, it looks like M16. The MI6 desk in Washington as an international espionage specialist in cooperation with the CIA.
Okay.
So when you think of clandestine operations of the Cold War, essentially anything very James Bond.
Have we talked about that at all? I don't even.
Yes, we've done many. We did covert intelligence. Do
we know anything about that?
COINTELPRO.
Yeah, we did COINTELPRO. We covered MK Ultra.
Yeah,
So,
Project
but
Artichoke,
a lot of
Project
that,
Paperclip, all those.
a lot of that is very American based. We oftentimes forget, especially talking about the Cold War, that England was a massive espionage factory.
For sure.
Coming out of the 40s and 50s. Essentially, England during World War II was the number one covert intelligence fighting in the war. America at the time, I mean, like the FBI and stuff like that, CIA was starting to burge. We've talked about the America's influence there. But thinking as like a European ally of the U.S. that is directly next to France, like people often talk about how England was like the last defense of the Germans sweeping westward into
Well, yeah, I mean, the
international waters.
CIA as we know it now wasn't established until after World War II was over.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
And same with MI6.
We had other intelligence agencies that were similar, but it wasn't
before
exactly what it is now.
Before World War II ended, MI6 was known as SIS, or the Secret Intelligence Service.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is it was a very interesting thing because it literally had no particular definition.
Right.
The British government during and before World War II was very much like, or you got monarchistic stuff, you've got your parliamentary stuff, and you've got your individual governmental houses of, housing,
of buggery.
finance, and
Houses of
buggery.
buggery.
Houses of Buggery, yeah. Houses of Buggery is my 6-part fantasy novel.
I'm the minister of the House of Buggery. Send the boy in.
My name is Archibald Blundershot.
Send Drew the stool boy in for his buggering, his daily buggering.
Yeah, I don't miss that job.
Okay, so Kim Philby, we're gonna get into some of this stuff because actually the history of MI6 and the Secret Intelligence Service, or SIS, is hard to trace because it comes from a long line of shit like the fucking Scarlet Pimpernel during the French Revolution. You know the Scarlet Pimpernel?
Yes,
Scarlet Pimpernel was a
That's not a thing.
The Scarlet Pimpernel was a fictionalized English lord during the French Revolution. There's the plays and novels about him.
Yeah, it's a book.
Yeah, he was like a Batman kind of thing. But his weird bourgeois Batman take was he was going into France during the French Revolution to rescue aristocrats that were being executed by the brutish revolutionaries. So he was like, he was like the bourgeois Batman of all time. It's like if fucking Jeff Bezos was like traveling into into Tibet right
sounds
now.
like a fucking asshole.
Yeah. Exactly. But that was the kind of English SIS stuff for a long time. It was like, oh yes, well I perhaps we'll send the Pimpernel in, And it wasn't covered by a governmental entity because for so long the British Crown was the government, and you just did what the fuck they said.
Right.
And everyone had to. It's just like any monarchy. You've got to figure out working for like the king. And he's like, yes, bring me blue horses. You're like, fuck, okay, I gotta establish like a fucking like a horse finding team. I gotta get an office of blue dye together. I gotta dye these fucking horses.
Do I have to prime them first?
Yeah, like how much fucking research do I have to do on dyeing horses right now? Fuck my ass. So that's how the intelligence service worked in England forever. It was like, yes, I need information in Prague. And you'd be like, fuck, I need to get a guy who will go to Prague, somebody who can act well enough to fucking get in and do the espionage. Right. But but it's always like, all right, we'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. Don't need paperwork on this. We'll just fucking do it. So it was all handshake friendship stuff throughout like the monarchy for forever.
Okay.
But anyway, let me focus on Kim Philby. There's another guy after him too. I got two.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, the other one is we'll get to him.
Okay. Kimothy.
It's Phil Kimby. Okay, so Kim Philby was known for 30 years as one of England's sharpest and most trusted agents, being close friends with such well-known agents as author Graham Greene, who was a clandestine operative during World War II and after.
Okay.
Ian Fleming, the author of the James Bond novels, who also was...
I was going to ask where that factored in.
Yeah, he was a high-ranking official in MI6 post-World War II.
Right.
And he eventually became a fiction writer, and he...
Fleming? I didn't know that about Fleming.
Yeah, Fleming fictionalized his own misadventures, actually, in a lot of ways, to be like, yes, I was James Bond.
Yes, I will beat all of the villains and get all of the pussy.
One of the many reasons that James Bond fucks so much. Yeah. He's like, yeah, he can do anything, and he fucks hard, just like I did when I was fucking riding a desk in fucking Indonesia.
My
for
whole
4
life
years.
was martinis, vaginas, and toppling villains.
Fucking, you did copy work in fucking Algeria for like 4 years. And he's like, yes, and in the meantime, I got lots of pussy. So yeah.
Have you ever had Algerian minge? I think not.
I'm wearing Algerian minge right now, actually. It's the new scent by Dior.
Algerian minge. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so Philby was known as...
band name.
That's not bad, actually.
Yeah.
So he was known as a sharp agent and administrator for a long time. He had friends like Graham Greene and Ian Fleming. He even became close associates with J. Edgar Hoover during his period at the Washington desk.
Huh. So he's an asshole.
No, actually. Philby was known very specifically as being gregarious.
I was going to say, we all associate with assholes on a fairly frequent basis. It doesn't make you an asshole.
If you think of him as an asshole,
I'm an asshole for different reasons.
He was a fun, gregarious, fun to be around, charming asshole in a droll, dry British way.
Okay, sure. Got it.
Like he always bouncing a quick, dry British joke back at someone.
Got you.
It's like, I don't have any references, but if you ask for a dry martini, he'd be like, well, it's made of liquid, sir. Like that kind of shit. Just a little fucking quippy English horse shit. But during his career, he shaped the direction of the Cold War, often negotiating tense exchanges between England and Russia and crafting clandestine operations that informed the political landscape of Europe for decades, right?
Interesting.
During his time in the British SIS, the Secret Intelligence Office, he held the confidence and secrets of royalty, heads of state. He was entrusted with secrets on an international level. He was droll, funny, charming, a bit understated, and very, very British. His loyalty and his dedication to pursuing British interests was never in question in all of his years working for the English SIS.
I'm very British. Don't forget it.
Yeah, so you looked at this guy, you'd be like, well, that's the Britishest motherfucker I ever. That guy masturbates to a picture of Queen Elizabeth.
Right. His teeth looked like a blind person put together a picket fence.
He's the kind of guy who would jerk off on a picture of Queen Elizabeth and then, clean it up with his handkerchief and be, oh, sorry, Mom.
And then
I'm so British, I shit the Queen.
And then not brush his teeth or shower.
Nigel Thornberry ass fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just known as being like the staunchest, most stalwart, most iconic British man of all time.
Gotcha.
And the character of M from James Bond, Ian Fleming's M, while not based directly on him, was informed heavily by the way that he worked his magic as an administrator in MI6. Right?
Got you.
Like people would report to him like that, and he had a fucking secretary named Penny and shit like that. Like there's a lot of influence there.
He was like Charlie without the angels.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Which is why it came as such a shock when it was discovered that he was and had always been a Russian asset.
Oh.
Yes.
Whoa.
Didn't see that shit coming, did you?
No.
Neither did anyone for 30 fucking years.
Holy fuck.
In fact, over his career, he had become known by the Kremlin as the #1 Russian spy in the world, and was single-handedly responsible for Russia's success in subverting England's covert operations in Russia and Eastern Europe.
Oh, no wonder he had so much success with his negotiations.
Yeah. Because this guy, it turns out, is possibly the most influential political figure of the Cold War.
Wowzer.
And he's just a paper-pushing British fucker. Like, he's nobody, essentially. You know, the only way you would know about him is if you worked in covert intelligence and had to run some fucking paperwork by him or some shit.
Huh.
You know? So, yeah, he was responsible for Russia's success subverting England's covert operations, as well as assisting Russian interests all over the world by leaking secret plans and state secrets to the Kremlin, often plans that he had constructed himself. You've probably never heard of Philby, and for good reason.
Nope.
He's one of the greatest embarrassments in the history of covert operations on Earth, with few exceptions. He was the most successful undercover operative in history, and that owes itself to two things. One, he almost never doubted himself. Man of complete confidence in his cause. Absolutely just like stuck to what he was doing, to the point of marrying and having children under this covert cover. Like with a British woman.
Okay.
He was for a short time married to a socialist French woman in France when he was like young, like college age.
Okay.
But that was neutralized so that he could go into deeper cover and marry a British woman and have British children and become this respectable facade.
She didn't know about it.
No, she did not. That will come into play. We'll talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, he almost never doubted himself. To England, he was the epitome of evil, the absolute epitome of evil after his discovery. A double agent and a traitor. But to Philby, he was neither. He had never served England and was a straightforward Russian asset for the entirety of his adult life. To him, he was doing hero shit. Like,
for Russia,
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, think you flip it on the other side and you get somebody embedded in Russia on that, and the narrative is like, that's the bravest man that's ever lived.
Yeah, bad guy never thinks he's the bad guy.
Yeah, so he was a Russian asset for all of his adult life, starting during his time at Cambridge University in the 1930s and continuing until his death in Russia in 1988. Another factor that his success owes itself to is the handshake, pip sort of aesthetic of the British intelligence service during this time. It really, literally is like...
Patrick, did you just respond by going, oh, yes.
No, yes. Do we have a deal? Yes? Okay.
In researching this topic, I discovered that the majority of English policy for almost 250 years was done in smoky taverns, bars, or like pubs, societal elite clubs, you know?
The Prancing Pony.
Yeah, the fucking Leaky Cauldron.
Yeah.
But just like shit like that. Like everything was done over drinks. Everything was done with a handshake and a laugh. Mm-hmm. Almost every single negotiation that you would find internally in the British government was made intoxicated, for one, but in in this atmosphere of friendship.
I think it would be foolish to think it's still not the same minus the pubs.
Well, I think that things in the world move that way and always have. In a way, there's a lot of like, they call them backroom deals. You know, like there's a lot of just like, okay, we'll get together, we'll play cards, and we'll talk about what we're going to do with Bangladesh or some shit.
Sure,
you know?
over brandy or scotch or whatever. Yeah.
But it was just such a common occurrence in England for the entirety of the British Empire that, like, you know, Lord Huffington would meet with, you know, Duke Bismarck, and you know, they'd fucking drink pink gin and be like, yes, well, these, you know, filthy ties, you know, and then they'd end up like, yeah, well, we'll send several men.
Whatever shall we do with the Congo?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I propose that we divide it for the ivory. And shit like that, and it's always these stuffy fucks. But it also, like, that atmosphere. This is very hard to describe, and I've been trying to put a finger on this aesthetic for a long time. Mm-hmm. The Victorian England cult of bravery is really hard to put a finger on. There were so many wars that England was a part of.
Sure.
We're not just talking about, like, we're talking post or pre-World War I, right? Almost every of age person in the monarchy or the House of Lords would have seen combat at some point.
Yeah.
You know, if you were a 25-year-old
and post World War I.
Yes, if you were a 25-year-old, you know, like minor duke in Surrey or some shit, you might be missing a hand from the fucking Zulu Wars or the Boer Wars or something. There's so many different people that are like these eccentric British characters that are missing an eye or have a facial disfigurement or, you know, like, you know, this man's missing an arm and he's got that fucking Napoleon thing tucked into his shit. And it's
price
always
of
like,
colonization, baby.
Uncle Archibald, you know, lost his leg in the Battle of the Nile.
Yeah.
You know, and this is like, this creates we talk as much shit as you want about the British, but that is the culture. It's a culture of bravery.
Absolutely.
You know, which is one of the defining characteristics of how the British monarchy was able to take over
Uncle
the
Nigel
fucking
lost
world.
his hand in India.
Yeah, exactly. But like one of the reasons England was able to take
An errant elephant stepped on it. It wasn't even in war.
Yes, he's got the tusks hanging on the wall of his study.
A true hero.
Yeah, so you know, you fucking in movies and
killed it
shit,
with a sword.
You'll see the, you know, British mansions.
With his one good hand.
You know, and everybody had all of these people had fucking mansions on estates out in the countryside.
Yeah.
And they're all like, they got lions' heads that they shot themselves and shit on their walls. And like, you know, these you know, spears and shit from the Orient that they fucking brought back from some weird conflict, you know.
Killed 12 pygmies with it.
Exactly. That's such like a superfluous part of British history that it's mocked constantly and like everything. You know, I think even like
that's why I have so many one-liners.
Yeah, possibly the most contemporary one would be like that Wolfman movie with Benicio del Toro. If you saw that,
I didn't.
Fucking Anthony Hopkins is Benicio del Toro's dad, and he's always wearing like a robe made of tiger fur that he killed himself.
Oh, Jesus!
You know, it's like that kind of shit. Yeah. So that is the culture of England that nobody talks about, really. But if you were an of-age man in England, especially one in the House of Lords of the British monarchy,
for centuries,
you are expected to be badass.
Right.
There is really, if you're not, you're a homosexual. And that's the interesting thing, because there's even a character involved in all of this espionage.
Fucking gay.
You're puffed. But like, there's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the interesting thing, because a lot of these guys were gay as fuck too.
Yeah.
They were all getting buggered in fucking what do they call it, boarding schools.
Yeah.
For hundreds of years. Like that's like a culture of English. Like men love men until they have to breed. You know, it's like but you've got this like, but that's also part of the cult of secrecy, because you wouldn't let that publicly be known as a big public secret.
Right.
You know, that, you know, boys of a certain age bugger each other.
Yes.
It's just a fucking commonly known
I
thing.
loved a lad in boarding school.
Exactly. You know, but then you move on and you mature. And you mature and grow to like women. Because I ain't gay no more. I love women. women. I am delivered. So fucking, there's a character in here actually that is a flamboyant homosexual and is known to be, and a drunkard and a troublemaker, but no one mentions it because he is a proper brave English agent, you know? Like the man goes on fucking missions. He can fuck any boys he wants, essentially. It's like, but that's the culture. But if he causes any trouble, to be like, yes,
I fucked 12 pygmies.
we must find a way to accommodate his eccentricities.
Yeah,
you know, send him off to Thailand. Okay, so but
the boys there shall remain mum.
You have to sort of figure that this is the way it goes, and with that sort of strange cult of bravery, you have another secondary culture of implicit trust. When you have this big boys club,
right,
literal boys club of, you know, having a couple of drinks and talking about the fate of the world,
right,
and somebody brings their son in as like, you know, yes, this is my boy, and we're going to teach him the ways of the world here in the political spectrum. You know, that guy is going to have a couple of drinks with some English lords and get to know them, and then over time find his way ingratiated into this club, and then with a handshake or a simple request like, hey, do you have anyone at the Foreign Office? You know, I could totally, you would mind fitting me in as a journalist over here or something? They'd be like, yes, of course. Yeah, so speak to my secretary and we'll turn you out.
There shall be a page at the House of Commons.
Yes, exactly. Some shit like that. That, like...
Now for the buggering.
You will be buggered by men now, young man.
No, they have servants for that now.
stool, boy.
So with all of like this very hard to pin down sort of like secret public culture, you also figure we're talking about a perspective of economic class that is so far above the common man that it's a very exclusive club. And your basic man on the street in England, I would say 99% of the population of England would have no fucking idea of any of this. They essentially, they know the House of Lords, they know the Queen, and they know pay their taxes. That's all they fucking got. And this exclusive club in the small hundreds, they are shaping the world for hundreds of years doing all this kind of shit. Because yes, we will build a train to India. Shit like that. So when Kim Philby finds his way from Cambridge into these little circles, he's already been a Russian operative. He's already been taken by the socialism during his college years. So all he has to do really is be like, yes, I am a respectable Englishman. My father was an ambassador to this and that.
I'm a Cambridge man.
Shakes a couple of hands, gets in. Eventually, he's like, "Do you have any room in SIS?" And like, yes, I think we have a spot over here.
Okay.
Right? And this is all just background stuff. But allow me to continue. I said, allow me to continue.
No.
Harold Adrian Russell Philby was nicknamed Kim by his parents after the Rudyard Kipling novel Kim. Is anyone familiar with Kim by Rudyard Kipling? It's okay. Which we can assume had a big impact on his self-image.
Was that a character in Ricky Tikki Tavi?
Ricky Tikki Tavi, bitch.
That would have been a cooler nickname.
Yeah, they just call him Ricky or Tikki or Tavi.
Ricky Tikki Tavi Philby.
No, that was a mongoose.
It was. I know.
You remember that cartoon, Ricky Tikki Tavi? I do. It's a weird, like, kind of... Drew, do you ever see the cartoon Ricky Tikki Tavi?
Believe so.
Yeah, it was a weird, I think, public access cartoon.
Yeah.
It just sort of popped up out of nowhere when we were kids. It's one of the dark memories. It's probably one of those memories that was implanted to cover, abuse or something.
I was going to ask you when the last time you heard a Ricky Tikki Tavi reference was.
It's actually Rick and Morty. There's one episode... I know I do not endorse the show Rick and Morty. I'm not that guy, but I have seen a lot of them.
Sure.
There is one bit where Rick is talking about all the different catchphrases he's working on.
Oh, I know that one, yeah.
One of them is Ricky Tikki Tavi, bitch.
Oh, yeah. I didn't remember that one specifically.
Pretty funny, but yeah. He settles, of course, on Wubba Lubba Dub Dub.
Yeah. Stupid.
To the chagrin of anyone around.
Yeah, anyone who doesn't want to deal
of nerds.
Anyone doesn't want to deal with stupid assholes isn't allowed to watch that fucking show. Like,
yeah,
it's a bummer because it's a funny show.
It's a well-written show.
But Dan Harmon's a great writer, dude.
Yeah,
but God, so many dickheads.
It became a cultural phenomenon with people who didn't get it.
You know what I equate it to? Like the World Wrestling Federation.
That's a good comparison.
I personally think I could have a lot of fun watching wrestling.
Yeah,
sure.
It's silly, it's over the top, it's bombastic. These guys are all great actors and athletes. Yeah. There's a lot of cool shit that you could really think is fun. But the fans are the fucking worst, dude.
Like a step down from NASCAR.
Especially the ones that will deny that it's fake. I mean, it's obviously pageantry.
Yeah,
does anybody...
well documentedly so.
It's
like when we were kids in the 90s, I understood.
Yeah, when you were a kid, you're like, it's not fake. But there are adults who are like, no. They pump it up a little bit, but those are real rivalries. Like, what the fuck are you? They all have drinks and do steroids together after the show, dude. It's fucking nonsense.
Yeah, and then they get a script for next week.
Exactly. It's a stage show,
100%.
Which is cool. It's a well-produced stage show. I would love to watch that shit. There's funny stuff in there,
Yeah.
Like, fuck.
But all those guys, if you're a wrestling fan who's in denial, those are all thespians.
Yes. They are all glistening, oiled up, muscly gym rats that love to act on stage. That
love the
Some of them are good actors.
They are great actors.
See John Cena and Dave Bautista.
Dude, John Cena's a fucking man. Like, I like everything John Cena's in. It's ridiculous.
I have become a huge fan.
I'm upset that you just jumped right over Andre the Giant.
Andre the Giant was a terrible actor.
I know he was.
I love Andre the Giant, especially The Princess Bride, but like, dude, he was bad.
Some of them are bad. Like him and The Rock. The Rock
angel.
sucks. Fuck you, Rock.
Well, yeah, I mean, come on, Dwayne.
I think he just has he doesn't have any range. He's just got the one acting style, which is
I think he would probably
the
be
same
a better...
thing that he did as a wrestler. It's just him doing it
I think
in movies now.
He would be a better actor if he could get over his own fucking ego.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what I think is
The Rock was really good to start out. Like, The Rundown is a really good movie. It's really fun. Have you ever seen The Rundown?
I don't believe
it's The Rock is one of his first like movie roles, and he's like a bounty hunter.
I'll also be the first to say that I've probably not seen 90% of The Rock's movies anyway.
Well, he wasn't all bulked up at the time. He was, not a normal sized guy by any means. He was fucking gigantic, muscly fuck. But like, he wasn't as crazy bulky as he would get later in his career. Him and Sean William Scott. It's like a buddy chase movie.
Okay.
It's very Midnight Run, if anyone gets that reference. It's fucking cool. Cool flick. He's great. He's funny in it, And then as he got more popular as an actor, his shit just fucking goes down. Anyway. We're talking about international espionage.
I blame Kevin Hart entirely.
It's probably Kevin Hart's fault.
The book Kim that Philby gets his nickname from, that he was nicknamed as a child because his parents lived in India.
Because his parents hated him and they're like, we're going to give you a girl name.
Well, it obviously had a big impact on him because the book is ostensibly about, among other things, an Irish orphan that learns espionage living on the streets of India.
Interesting.
Yeah, so like in the obviously suppositionary sort of idea of like, this is an influence on you. Mm-hmm. It's like the way my daughter's middle name is Danger. Like it's silly, it's jokey, but at the same time, hopefully she's in a situation where she's got to be brave about something, and she's like, "Fuck it, Danger's my middle name." That's the hope with that kind of thing.
My daughter's middle name is Ripley after Ellen Ripley.
Ellen Ripley, exactly. You got to fucking gather that strength, kill the alien.
Yeah,
get away from her, you bitch.
Exactly.
Anyway, Phil,
you want to stop trying to give me a seizure over there, bud?
I'm sorry. I'll turn the brightness down.
Drew's phone is on strobe mode.
Got a flashbang in his hand right next to me. Jesus Christ.
Drew,
it's pretty bad. I dropped it about a week ago.
Drew is famously anti-stuff, and he ain't no fake bitch. He stands on he stands on business, and one of his stand on business points is that he's not doing iPhones. Because they're the devil.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with it being an Android. I dropped the fucking thing this screen
Well, he has an Android, so he dropped it and it turned into a fucking strobe light.
I'm sure Samsung is such a better company ethically.
Well, I mean, they don't use as much baby blood to run their phones, maybe. I don't know. Born in British India, Philby was educated at Westminster School and Trinity College of Cambridge. He was recruited by Soviet intelligence in 1934 while he was at Cambridge.
So he was born in India too?
Yes. Yeah, I'm going to do a little bit more on his parents in just a second.
Hence the Rudyard Kipling, okay.
He was revealed in 1963 along with several other former students to have been part of a group known as the Cambridge Five, who are 5 Cambridge students that would work as Russian assets in British government for almost 30 years. 3 of them, Philby being one, actually, there's the singular incident that we'll talk about towards the end of Philby's career with MI6 that sparked this internal investigation.
Okay.
One of the people, we'll talk about that in just a second.
Okay.
So this is a very complicated story.
That's fine.
I discovered this story about 2 weeks ago.
Uh-huh.
I'd never heard of Philby before. I've been working pretty diligently, listening to audiobooks, doing research. A lot of it is so dense and hard to extract from political history that it's essentially unusable. If I want to talk about Philby's activities, there's stuff like, he covertly was hiding documentation by sending it to himself in triplicate at different offices that he had worked previously, so that these messages wouldn't get to people because they were being sent to him at an office he didn't work at, so that they would be filed into the British mail system and then sent back to him as a return to sender. So by the time he received them, he'd open it and be like, "Oh, well, these people are already dead." I mean, goddamn bureaucracy. There's so many minute little things in here.
All right. But he had 4 buddies, and they used to all fuck each other, and then also
they almost
secret agents.
Definitely boned each other.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that
in school, in my school days.
So Kim Philby was born in Ambala, Punjab.
Beautiful this time of year. Northwestern India.
The Z job will cost you $15. Punjab will cost you 20. Kim Philby was born in Ambala, Punjab, British India.
Oh my God.
To author and explorer St. John Philby and his wife Dora Johnston.
His name was St. John?
St. John Philby.
Hello, St. John Philby.
Right. We're talking like this is how Kim Philby...
He was an explorer, too?
He was explorer and author, yes, and sometimes ambassador.
What a cool guy.
What a British-ass, fucking monarchy-ass thing to be.
100%.
Just an explorer?
Yeah, no, I'm just an explorer and an author. Yeah, St. John.
Oh, so what did your father do? Oh, well, he was St. John Philby, the famed explorer.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yes, he discovered the Punjabi House of Mysteries. Yes, yes, we know his work well.
Killed 12 pygmies.
Right? Like, who the fuck, your job is explorer? Why not me?
Because
I'll get fucking eaten by a hippopotamus if you can just give me the job of explorer.
Because we were born 100 years too late.
Fucking horse shit. I know. Fucking horse shit. It's the world that I'm supposed to have. All right. You know, and if the opportunity ever...
Or 100 years too early, because in another 100 years, you could be like a moon explorer.
There's this book, Ragtime.
We'll be dead before that.
It was actually turned into a pretty cool movie. Ragtime has a bunch of different stories in it, but one of the characters is just a rich man in New York who's in his like mid to late 40s, who's returning from a 2-year expedition to Antarctica just cuz.
Yeah.
Like, as an explorer, like, he was just rich, and he just signed up to be an adventure explorer guy, which everyone was like, yes, how was the Antarctic? And he was like, oh, wild Eskimo women, you know?
Yeah.
And, like...
No.
But, like, 2 years on frozen ice just because he's like, yes, this is what you do. Yeah. I'm fucking rich. I'm going to explore.
Like I said, you were born 100 years too late to be a world explorer. You're 100 years too early to be a space explorer.
And 100% too poor to be a modern explorer.
Yeah, and the only thing you get to be is a fucking internet explorer.
Tight. Was born just in time for Reddit. Fantastic.
So,
yeah.
Exactly. Are we going to kill ourselves after this episode?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's it.
But first, buggery.
Okay, so...
buggery, then death.
So, Kim Philby, born in Ampala, Punjab. His father, explorer St. John Philby, his mother, Dora Johnson. St. John Philby was a member of the Indian Civil Service at the time of Philby's birth, which is... essentially just another paper pusher. Okay. You know, working within some sort of parliamentary form. Again, not very well documented. A lot of
colonized India.
Yes, a lot of like send the walla to bring us melons. You know, so fucking, this is fun episode because I could just make up a bunch of rich 1900s fucking British shit to say.
Britain in the fucking in India.
Filthy Bedouins and all that sand.
Yeah. My wife would like to ride the elephant today, please. Please send for the elephant man.
Okay, so at the time of Philby's birth, St. John Philby was a member of the Indian Civil Service, later became a civil servant in Mesopotamia and an advisor to King Ibn Saud of Saudi Arabia.
Interesting.
Which means, like, Kim Philby's life growing up was very exotic. You know, as a child, he traveled through India into Saudi Arabia and was, you know, as a member of this, like...
gay group of 5 boys.
these gay buggery boys. No, but as a member of, you know, the family of the advisor to King Ibn Saud, you know, like... that there's some opulent shit attached to that. So, like, there's an inflated sense of self, but also you're living in a place that is being subjugated by England. So, as separated as he would feel from... his English roots and closer to his, you know, whatever this upbringing.
Yeah, because I mean, I would imagine at this point he's never actually lived in England, even though he's an Englishman.
Exactly. He becomes more of a, you could say a humanist, but he definitely has a more radical leaning towards imperialism, you know, watching the result of imperialism on places like Saudi Arabia.
Places where he's actually learning the culture rather than sitting in his fucking manor.
Interesting upbringing.
Yeah.
Especially being the son of Explorer St. John Philby.
Jesus.
Yes, one day, my boy, you're following my footsteps. You'll have drinks with the Duke of Buggery. So in his early teens, he spent some time with a Bedouin in the Arabian desert.
Album name, Drinks with the Duke of Buggery.
In his early teens, he spent some time with a Bedouin in the Arabian desert, and then following in his father's footsteps, Philby continued to Westminster School, which he left in 1928 at the age of 16. He won a scholarship to Trinity College, Cambridge, where he studied history and economics.
Okay.
He graduated in 1933. At Cambridge, Philby exhibited a leaning towards communism. In the words of his father, who went on to write, "The only serious question is whether Kim definitely intended to be disloyal to the government while in its service."
Oh, so Dad was still alive when he got found out.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
The question is if he truly intended it.
The shame, my boy.
I have a feeling that like St. John Philby, because in my head he's a Colonel Mustard type. I kind of see him as like, well, 'twas a brave effort, not the direction I'd have chosen. Yes, dismantle the house. We're moving to Saudi Arabia.
Jesus.
But anyway, yeah, the question of whether he had definitely intended to be disloyal, the answer is yes.
Of course.
He fucking did. One of the first things Philby did in Cambridge was join the Cambridge University Socialist Society, attending their meetings but taking little part in their proceedings. However, following the Labour Party's defeat in the 1931 general election, he took a more active role in the Socialist Society and served as its treasurer in 1932 and 1933. Upon Philby's graduation, Maurice Dobb, a tutor in economics at Trinity, introduced him to the World Federation for the Relief of the Victims of German Fascism, which is an organization based in Paris. So he went out to Paris, worked with this relief foundation, became even more radicalized with socialism.
Gotcha.
And it would then turn out that Maurice Dobb was himself a Soviet asset.
Okay.
He was later introduced to a series of other Soviet spy masters. And with World War II approaching, Philby dropped a bunch of hints at these various social clubs and gatherings and, smoke-filled rooms over gins to various old men of the Boer Wars and shit. He dropped hints about wanting to use his skills as a journalist or an economics student, things like that, for the government.
Or a double agent.
Whatever.
Whatever lands in my lap.
Yeah, so these spy masters are like, hey, why don't you start doing some shit for the cause, motherfucker? And and at the time, there was no SIS involvement with Russia almost at all. Like Russia was their ally. World War II's coming up. Things are a little skewy, but there's that Bolshevik thing. But for the most part, communism, who gives a fuck? This German situation is a real fucking how do you do though. So during World War II, Russia's like, we really need to get our fucking fingers in the pot here with England's whole. They're shit. But England's like, Russia, they're on our side. Whatever, who gives a fuck? This is funny.
Okay, yeah.
Around the time that Philby was trying to get into government work, there was a man named Guy Burgess, who was another one of the Cambridge University students. And this guy is the one that I am saying was flamboyantly homosexual to a point of goo. This was a... Do
you have stories about his flamboyance?
This is a whole nother fucking character. Let's say, he was also a massive drunkard and a huge annoyance to Parliament, but he was a stalwart Brit, and he became an agent in his own right and a field agent working, multiple different missions and adventures as they would send out these SIS agents. But there are multiple stories of him, having weird orgies in Istanbul or singing songs about butt sex as he drunkenly staggered down the streets of fucking, Morocco.
Okay.
So Guy Burgess was good friends with Philby. And Guy Burgess was able to secure him a job in British intelligence where he had already been posted, and start this sort of strange sort of covert alliance between multiple agents of the Kremlin inside of the British Secret Service.
Okay.
Right?
I thought you were going to say recording career, but okay.
The British intelligence services in the 40s were heavily based on trust and social connections from elite universities like Cambridge, so there was very little vetting in general, of Philby's social standing. So nobody dug into the fact that he was part of the Socialist Party or anything, and nobody really gave a fuck. They're just like, yeah, seems like a British young man.
You got to also consider when he went in, although Russia was not necessarily the most friendly ally, they were an ally. So, especially because you're talking about, a time before things like background checks and all that shit, very much like Boys Club. You might have had some people who knew and were just like, oh, he was young. He'll grow out of it once he sees the world. Once he experiences the man-asses of Marrakesh.
Man-asses of Marrakesh. Good band name.
God. Opening for the Kings of Leon.
The man-asses of Marrakesh.
Fitting. I saw the Kings of Leon 16 years ago.
Yeah, I saw them probably around that same time.
Yeah, it sucked.
Yeah. I don't hate them, but I don't love them.
I liked them when they were like very obviously like gross bar rock.
Yeah.
And then they tried to be U2, like with the Sex on Fire shit. and I have not listened to them since.
Okay.
So Kim Philby had a spy master by the name of Arnold Deutsch, who was a Dutch socialist. Yeah, Dutch. He was a Dutch socialist. This is a fun little interconnection into how we've talked before about how everything in history is fucking interconnected.
Mm-hmm.
Arnold Deutsch had acted as an editor for the scientist I always talk about, Wilhelm Reich.
Oh, wow.
This is the subject of our pseudoscience episode 1.
We're getting a lot of crossover lately.
Yeah, it's because the more we cover topics, the more different points just fucking intersect all over the place.
100%.
I even spent a bunch, I'm reading the book about Wilhelm Reich by his son Peter Reich right now.
Yeah.
So it's there's always going to be crossover, and our heads are always going to fucking
How
explode.
fucking bullshit is that book?
Good. It's really good.
Is it?
Yeah, it's actually fucking really heart-wrenching and intense.
Oh.
It's more about like a son's conflagration with the truth and their father as a young child, and then discovering the difference in like a father's perception of the world as they grow older.
Oh, okay,
it's a pretty weird little coming of age story. It's very like in-depth and cool, but yeah, interesting.
Okay.
So anyway, Arnold Deutsch is a mentor to Philby, teaches him spycraft, stuff like that, and they get very, very close. As Philby begins his career as like an operative inside the SIS, he never really does field work per se. I did air quotes on the radio. He's mostly a desk jockey. He's actually tasked at one point with assassinating a man by the Kremlin.
By paperwork.
But then one of the handlers that goes to him to tell him he has to assassinate this guy essentially takes a couple looks at him and goes, no, he's not fucking...
Oh, he was actually like, he was supposed to do the actual assassination himself?
Somebody wanted him to do that because the Kremlin's spycraft was very heavy, but extremely disorganized,
right,
and was often constantly subject to quick change, as Stalin would get feelings about things and then have people killed.
Boy, how things have changed.
Even Arnold Deutsch, Kim Philby's handler and mentor, one day just doesn't show up anymore.
Oh, well.
And he has been tortured and killed.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because he was a double agent of any sort. He was actually very, very loyal. It was just because something went south somewhere, and the way that the KGB found answers was torturing and killing people.
Yeah.
But, Philby is now like on his path into the service here. His career as a spy is highlighted by a series of deep infiltrations and betrayals that severely compromised Western intelligence for decades. His successful espionage is often attributed to his ability to leverage his elite social standing and personal friendships to rise through the ranks of the British Secret Intelligence Service. Key highlights here, okay? By the end of World War II, Philby had become the head of MI6's anti-Soviet counter-espionage section, and from this position, he was responsible for combating Soviet subversion, but instead he used his authority to actively compromise and sabotage Allied operations against the Soviets.
Jesus Christ.
From 1949 to 1951, Philby served as the chief British intelligence representative to Washington, D.C., and was the primary liaison to the CIA and FBI. The highly sensitive position gave him access to a vast array of American intelligence.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's real crazy because the CIA is not a trusting enterprise. But
no.
But when... I think this is exhibited pretty
Nor
strongly.
was the FBI.
If you read any of the James Bond novels or even watch the Daniel Craig movies, there is like an inherent handshake trust between like this CIA operative Felix something and James Bond.
Right.
And that's the way that England thought about working with the CIA at first.
Well,
because
it's just crazy.
They're just
to
like,
think
well, these are our allies. So
1949 is Alan Dulles and fucking J. Edgar Hoover.
Yeah.
Neither of whom were particularly trusting and very well documented. Like,
this is
watching everyone.
Here's a very fun
and looking for dirt on everyone.
It's a very fun detail. J. Edgar Hoover quite liked Philby because of his posh British manner, which can be associated pretty strongly with how fucking gay J. Edgar Hoover was. Yeah. He literally
how fuckable he thought Kim Philby was.
Yeah, fucking J. Edgar Hoover's just like, look at his style, look at his panache. He's so charming.
I'd like to see that man ass in Marrakesh.
So he was a primary liaison to the CIA and the FBI for MI6.
Did he ever leave his boyfriend behind at work to go hang out with Kim Philby for an afternoon?
I don't have any documentation of Kim Philby ever like taking one for the team, as it were, but I would not be surprised to find out that was the case ever.
Well, you know that J. Edgar Hoover and what's-his-nuts were like constantly together. So,
yeah, they would dress the same and shit.
Yeah, a little trouble in paradise when Philby would come
dine
around.
with them often in like the FBI mess and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So the highly sensitive position gave him access to a vast array of American intelligence, including sensitive information on U.S. counter-espionage efforts and plans during the Korean War, all of which he passed to the Soviets.
Wow.
Right? In 1950, Philby betrayed an Allied plan to infiltrate anti-communist insurgents into Albania to overthrow the communist regime. Thanks to Philby's leak, the mission was a total failure and led to the capture and death of many agents. When fellow Cambridge 5 spies Guy Burgess and Donald McLean came under suspicion in 1951, Philby warned them, enabling their escape to the Soviet Union. And while this triggered intense suspicion against Philby, he was able to evade serious consequences for over a decade by denying all of his accusations. Just being like, no,
I was going to say, how did nobody go, hey, you were in charge of this operation. How did it go so tits up?
It's just your basic, like, fucking, no, it wasn't me. He's just like, smokescreen, shall I buy you a drink? You know?
Wow. How about a brandy and some opium?
In a recovered 1981 lecture to East German Stasi spies, Philby openly boasted about his methods. He described how he plied an MI6 archivist with alcohol to gain access to highly classified source books and smuggled documents out in his briefcase on a regular basis for years. Kim Philby had numerous close calls throughout his career as a double agent, primarily escaping exposure due to his upper-class background, his charm, and the sheer disbelief within the British establishment that one of their own could be a traitor.
Well, and I'm sure that confidence came into play, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But just, like, think of this situation where somebody's like, that guy's a fucking communist spy, and somebody goes, how dare you accuse a British man of upstanding character?
Yeah. Or somebody being like, hey, Philby, what do you got in the briefcase? And it's, how dare you accuse me?
No, he'd say,
son of St. John Philby, explorer and author.
Or he'd be like, oh, what do you mean? It's full of state secrets and I'm passing to the Kremlin, obviously. They'd be like, what a cad.
Did you ever watch Breaking Bad?
Yeah, I love Breaking Bad, yeah.
You know, when Hank is helping Walt put his bag in the car and he's like, what, do you got bricks in here? And then Walt's like, 50 grand cash. Yeah, that's the spirit.
That'll be the day, yeah.
Just so you guys know, if you ever say something like that to me, I'm going to be like,
open the fucking bag.
For real? Yeah, open the bag. I want to see it.
I'm going to clock you in the head and take that shit.
Okay, so one of the closest calls that he ever had, actually, this is probably my favorite one that popped up. It's called the Volkov affair. It happened in 1945, so right towards the close of World War II, right after Philby had been involved in some shit at this point. By the end of World War II, as the Russians are closing into Germany, right, there are a number of German anti-Nazi Catholics that live in Berlin, right, which Philby has contacted and is talking to for the British government as allies. Like, hey, you're anti-Nazi, that's fucking great.
Sure.
Well, here's the thing. The communists sweeping in don't give a fuck about Germans, for one, and they particularly don't like Catholics.
Yeah.
So when Philby passes the information of these anti-Nazi Catholics onto the Soviets, they kill hundreds of them.
Yeah, I was going to say.
They just sweep in and fucking execute them.
My God.
You know, so Philby...
this guy is an asshole.
Dude,
he's responsible for a bunch of
again,
dead.
it is slightly complicated in that respect because on one hand, what a monster. On the other hand, what a courageous agent for whatever his beliefs were. You know, so it's fucking, you got to look at whatever the perspective is on that. But he was responsible for the deaths of lots of people in doing all this shit.
Lots of people opposing Nazis, just saying.
Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and say asshole.
I'll say asshole. You fucking British fuck, whatever. Fucking tea and biscuits, suck my dick. Who cares? But the Volkov affair is interesting because Konstantin Volkov, a Soviet intelligence officer in Istanbul, offered to defect to the UK in 1945 with details of Soviet spies operating in Britain. Right? Critically, Volkov stated that 2 of these agents were in the Foreign Office, and a third was a British intelligence officer who had previously worked in Spain. Now, who do you think he contacted to say that he wanted to defect?
Was it Kim Philby?
It was Kim Philby.
Oh boy, whoops.
Because Mr. Volkov had the locations and code names and the backgrounds that would easily lead to these agents being traced, but he didn't know that Kim Philby, head of the Istanbul office of MI6,
was also a
the
Soviet
fucking
agent.
Soviet spy. So he he's like, hey, I want to come in, like fucking save me. He's like, yeah, cool, come on in. As the head of MI6's anti-Soviet section, the request went directly to Philby, who was in charge of handling it. He immediately tipped off his Soviet handlers, who abducted Volkov and his wife in Turkey, had them drugged and executed, and prevented the vital information from ever reaching MI6.
Wow.
Had he just reached out to a different Brit, that would have been the end of Soviet everything in England for 10 years, probably. Like, that would have fucking ended so many operations and saved so many lives. It's crazy.
So, I mean, but would it have?
I mean, at the time, sure.
Even if
The way I picture it is, if the Brits realized that, oh shit, our little handshake jerk-off society is not shoring up the holes that we need shored up, I think things would have gotten a lot more industrialized much more quickly.
So I see it this way. This Volkov guy finds somebody at the Istanbul office, right? And says, I've got this, I want to defect, blah, blah, blah. That guy goes, oh, you want to talk to the head of the office, Kim Philby, right? So then somebody else probably did know.
Mm-hmm.
He talked to Kim Philby, then he gets executed. And then how easy is it to just be like, oh man, they must have found him. They must have known he was going to defect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Somebody must have been watching him.
Philby successfully defected blame by just claiming Volkov had been compromised by other people.
Yeah.
Volkov worked in a Soviet embassy.
Yeah.
So it was as easy as...
Somebody must have been following him.
Yeah,
Somebody must have watched him come to this office.
In fact, So Philby wasn't in Istanbul when the call first came in, but he was called in to fly to Istanbul from London to face-to-face talk to Volkov, right?
Right.
So Philby delays his flight by a week, right? Just stalling time, tips off the Soviets, flies to Istanbul, dawdles by a couple of days. He's like, yes, I'll get to it, before coming into the office to talk to the head of the Istanbul office. Then the head of the Istanbul office calls the Soviet embassy to talk to Volkov, and by the time he's there,
that's a weird way to
just
get a defector.
Just to say, hey, you come over now. You know, like, come down the street. Come on over here.
Yeah,
because they didn't have cell phones, and he's like, yes, may I speak to, fucking Ensign Volkov or whatever.
Switchboard operators, though.
Yes, and they'd be like, yes, transferring you now, because he was a high-ranking member of the embassy. So nobody suspected him at this time that he knew of. He was just quiet, secretly going to defect. So he calls, and by the time, after Philby's dicked around long enough, he calls for Volkov. Secretary's like, Volkov has left the country. Or, Volkov gone. No longer Soviet asset.
Volkov and wife dead in ditch.
But like, the guy calls back and they send him to somebody named Volkov who speaks perfect English, but the original Volkov that's trying to defect does not.
Right.
So it's pretty obvious. They're like, yes, it is I, Volkov. What would you like to talk about?
Jesus Christ.
So anyway, they're fucking gone. Towards the end of his career, after doing this for years and being responsible for the deaths of like literally thousands of British agents over the course of a decade plus,
right?
Fellow Cambridge Five spies Donald MacLean and Guy Burgess, the flamboyant character that we could do a whole nother bit on, that I might actually do a secondary addendum on later, because he's pretty fascinating. They came under increasing suspicion for Soviet espionage. Soviet espionage by Savage came under increasing suspicion for Soviet espionage. Fuck my ass. After he came under increasing suspicion for Soviet espionage, British intelligence was closing in on MacLean, and plans were made to interrogate him in late May 1951. Philby, who was based in Washington, D.C. as MI6 liaison, received word of the impending arrest. He orchestrated Burgess's return to London, who in turn warned MacLean, and the two men then fled to Moscow just days before MacLean was to be arrested. Philby immediately fell under a cloud of suspicion, with the CIA and FBI convinced he was the third man, air quotes on the radio, who tipped them off. He was recalled to London, where he resigned from MI6 in 1951. However, lacking concrete evidence, British security services could not charge him, partly due to the immense embarrassment a public trial would cause.
Probably, yeah.
That was what a British thing. They're like, no, we can't fucking arrest this asshole. Drew, you doing okay?
Yeah, neck hurts. It's fine.
Yeah, a little sore from...
It's for my duties as stool boy.
You get it? duties.
The American intelligence community and some journalists remained convinced of Philby's guilt. Another person who was pretty convinced of his guilt was his own wife.
Okay.
Here's a fascinating small subsect of Philby's
cover wife,
the
beard.
The British covered life and covered the British
cupboard wife.
His beard, right, and their 5 children traveled with him from place to place. Right? Yeah.
Talk about committing to it.
Dude, Philby talked about it later. He's like, "Yeah, I didn't fucking want those kids. I don't want that bitch. Whatever." He's like, "I'm a fucking spy. This is how you do it." You know? And I'm sure.
I mean, kind of props, I guess,
yeah,
for really committing to the bit.
Get into that shit,
no.
You know? But at the same time, I mean, where do you find, because there are lots of reports of people being friends with Philby, doing the day-to-day, to say he was a very proud father and loved his children very much. And so you can be a spy all the fucking time, but you can't always be a fucking spy, you know?
Right.
There are going to be bits of your own personality. He wasn't a robot.
Sure.
So yeah, of course, sure, maybe he loved his children very much.
Maybe he just said that in the aftermath.
Yes, exactly.
Maybe to shield them.
Or even when you're talking about espionage shit, maybe the reports of that coming out of the Kremlin, yes, I had children, just maybe that was fucking doctored by some fucking KGB guys.
Yeah.
You know? Who knows where the fuck that goes? But he had 5 kids and got married as protective cover for his fucking
right.
His wife, it was discovered many years after they got married, maybe 10 years or so, had in her youth suffered from something called Munchausen syndrome. You familiar?
Sure. Yeah.
Munchausen syndrome, for those that aren't familiar, is a psychiatric condition that's associated
constantly think that there's something wrong with you.
That is hypochondria. Munchausen syndrome is self-harm for sympathy.
Oh, okay.
Right? So there were reports of or when she was young having pancreas surgery or something, and then purposefully cutting open her sutures or putting urine in the wound to infect it so that she would stay sick to garner more sympathy.
Right, okay.
Not to be confused with Munchausen by proxy, which is more of I'll hurt my child for sympathy.
Yeah, that was that one lady.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
What was the daughter's name?
Oh, fucking, yeah, her.
Something.
Gypsy Rose.
Gypsy Rose.
Blanchard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blanchett.
Who's Blanchard?
Before you said Gypsy Rose, I was gonna say Doodlebug. Oh no,
Blanchard is the name of fucking Aaron Eckhart's character in the movie Black Dahlia.
Oh,
anyway,
I was gonna say before you said Gypsy Rose, I was about to say Doodlebug or something like that.
Doodlebug Blanchard.
Doodlebug Blanchett.
I think it is Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
Is it Blanchard?
Yeah.
Maybe I know a Blanchett. Maybe somebody else is a Blanchett.
Blanchard also is Aaron Eckhart's character in Black Dahlia.
Cool.
So his wife has Munchausen syndrome, right, which is discovered during a certain time after he's been in, it's all very hush-hush because it's British,
right.
But he has close friends inside the, SIS, the little fucking incestuous little friend group.
She's just constantly fucking hitting her own face with a hammer or something?
It's they would take care of her because she had some issues. No, there were, part of her symptoms were that she would, do weird shit, inject herself with urine and stuff because it would make her break out in boils and fucking... and it was discovered, and then his friends would take care of it. But it was also now known that she was of a delicate constitution, and you couldn't really.
Well, that's what it was called back then. Now it's called Munchausen syndrome.
Yeah. So when she starts getting suspicious of her husband's activities, his strange all-nighters, at first she thinks that because he's out drinking with people all the time to maintain this cover, he's getting fucking wasted with people and making friendships all over the world all the time.
Right.
So, after she just figures he's out fucking buggering somebody or having an affair in general.
So she starts fucking rushing guys.
Over time, she starts to realize the differences in his personality, dealing with certain people, different little, fucking narrative gaffes in the stories he's telling. Yeah. And she becomes convinced that he's a Soviet spy. So when she tries to uncover him and accuse him, guess who she talks to? His friends in MI6, who are all well aware that she is of a delicate constitution.
Oh, wow.
Right? So they all
it's just a woman talking.
Totally dismiss that shit when she's like, I'm fucking telling you he's a Soviet spy.
Yeah. Don't be a woman with an opinion in 1950. It's not going to work out.
Yeah, so some suspicion falls on him after...
In some ways, it doesn't work out in 2025.
Right.
Jesus Christ. Sorry, ladies.
As some suspicion falls on him after these two assets disappear to Russia, right? But Foreign Secretary Harold Macmillan publicly exonerated Philby in the House of Commons, stating that there was no reason to conclude that Mr. Philby had at any time betrayed the interests of his country. Philby then held a press conference where he calmly and convincingly denied all accusations, and the public clearance was a major victory for Philby, allowing him to work as a journalist in Beirut while secretly remaining in contact with MI6 and resuming his double agent role.
Jesus.
So, okay, we're coming to the end of the Philby story.
Okay.
In 1961, a KGB defector named Anatoly Golitsyn provided new evidence confirming Philby's treachery. This time, MI6 had enough to act. MI6 tasked Philby's closest friend, an agent named Nicholas Elliott, who is the most British fucking guy possible. Very
At least
stalwart.
he's got a normal fucking name.
He's very stalwart. He is Philby's best friend. He takes care of his wife when she's sick.
Okay.
You know, like...
When she's full of piss.
Yeah, they've helped each other with money a million times, a lot of drunken nights in the gutter.
Sure.
You know, even some, like, risky operations, finding information and shit like that. Like, they...
Jerk each other off when they've had a hard week.
To the point, Philby has sent him on missions that he very easily could have turned into the Soviets and had him killed, but doesn't because they are close friends. Like, he likes...
And Elliot is also a double agent?
No. Elliot is a stalwart British agent.
Oh, wow, okay.
He's a real James Bond character.
Okay.
Has no fucking concept that his most trusted friend, Kim Philby, would ever be anything but loyal. So when he's tasked with going to Beirut to confront him after this new information, this is a momentous occasion. And like a real, like, oh, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
Right?
You've been talking to Stalin, boy.
So he Nicholas Elliott is tasked to confront him in Beirut and extract confession. During their meeting in January 1963, Philby made a verbal, partial confession. However, after stalling for several days, he slipped out of the country and boarded a Soviet freighter headed for Odessa, Ukraine. Yeah. Some intelligence experts believe MI6 may have deliberately allowed Philby to escape to avoid a massively embarrassing public trial. And a secondary...
I see a bunch of MI6 guys like on the tarmac, like, okay, don't come back or just get fuck on the plane now.
The
Go.
subtext there, I think, is a little important. There is a MI6 agent confronting you about being a Soviet asset, which you confirm.
Partially.
There is a license to kill available for that exact moment, I'm pretty sure. I am without a doubt
probably
that Nicholas Elliott could have pulled out a gun and popped Philby right in the fucking head right then. Instead, he gives him a couple of days and the guy fucks off to Russia.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there is such a Brokeback Mountain ass. Just like, I wish I could quit you. You've got 2 days to get the fuck out of Beirut. Right? Like, you son of a bitch. You know? The same affection that would allow Philby to not have Elliot killed on missions by the Soviets is the one where Elliot's like, well, I guess I suppose I owe you at least that, you swine.
Yes.
The confrontation between Kim Philby and Nicholas Elliott in Beirut was a dramatic and deeply personal climax to Philby's decades of betrayal. By 1963, MI6 had received plenty of information to really clinch the case.
Beirut is Lebanon?
Beirut, Lebanon, yeah.
Yeah. Was that under British occupation at the time?
I mean, not occupation, allyship. I mean, we're not necessarily occupying, but there's
that license to kill may not have extended into foreign countries.
It's the SIS, baby.
Jurisdiction. Yeah,
they got a license to do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
It's England. I don't give a shit. But Elliot arrived in Beirut in January 1963. After bugging an apartment for the meeting, he summoned Philby. When Philby arrived, he reportedly saw Elliot and said, I rather thought it would be you.
I've been had. No.
Like the British, like, I rather thought it would be you. That's fucking good. This indicated that Philby was already aware, either through a leak of his own intuition.
Yeah. What took you so long, dear friend?
Yes, it took you long enough.
And it's got a dear friend.
But it was either through a leak or his own intuition. He was aware of what was going on.
So that's the problem with the over gentlemanly sort of affectation that of this particular time in England. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just like I think that is.
There's this sort of like, well, we're still going to be gentlemen about it.
Well, this context, right? Like, obviously, the Uncle Albert was damaged in the Boer Wars has shifted now into the people that are running the country. Old Uncle Albert from the Boer Wars is either a crazy old man in an asylum or dead at this point. Right. So now,
but there's still like I said, there's this like over gentlemanly affectation of sort of Brits at this time.
Yeah,
it's like,
and also
there's no reason to act as savages. We're gentlemen.
That cult of bravery as well, of like, okay, so you're a fucking scumbag double agent.
Yeah,
I hate you, but pretty ballsy, bro. Pretty fucking ballsy. Like, we're standing here looking at each other. We're both like seasoned veterans of clandestine operations during and post World War II.
I hope he did say pretty ballsy, bro.
Pretty ballsy, bro. So the confrontation was both a professional and a deeply personal betrayal.
Such and such.
Elliot was devastated. He felt duped by a man he had loved and defended. There's speculation that he was the one who intentionally allowed him to escape.
Okay.
Due to the highly secretive,
I'd say that tracks.
Yeah, due to the highly secretive nature of espionage of the Cold War, a precise, verifiable figure for the number of people who died as a result of Kim Philby's actions does not exist. Estimates vary widely, with some reports citing dozens of British agents and others claiming thousands of anti-communists.
I was gonna say, if you want to count those German Catholics, that's a bunch.
Yeah. While an exact statistical figure is not available, Philby is undeniably linked to several disastrous operations that resulted in significant casualties. After Kilby defects to the Soviet Union...
Philby.
You said Kilby.
Kilby. Philby Kilby.
Better name.
Kill Philby.
Phil Kilby.
Phil Kilby. Kill Philby is an anti-communist comedy troupe that does live internet comedy. Apparently, their jokes are very raucous and offensive.
Kill Philby is Quentin Tarantino's 10th movie, another alternate history movie.
That's Kilby Philby.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right.
That's also what Mushmouth from Fat Albert would say if he was going to assassinate Kim Philby. We gotta Kilby Philby. All right, so upon his arrival in the Soviet Union, Philby was not given the senior KGB post he may have expected. The Soviets, suspicious of his easy defection, kept him under virtual house arrest for the first several years, fearing he was a triple agent sent back to them.
I mean, how would you ever trust that guy?
Well, this is after
you can't, ever.
Philby was aware that, like, dozens of, like, handlers of his had been killed by the KGB at this point as being, you know, disastrous double agents or some shit, because Stalin was constantly cleansing people. Like, the entire Russian government had cycled through 4 different kinds of people.
He was also super paranoid.
He was paid a monthly stipend, but was largely ignored and underutilized, which contributed to a deep depression and heavy drinking. His next wife, Eleanor.
Eleanor?
Yeah, he had another one.
In Russia?
Yeah, he had a Russian wife.
Named Eleanor.
His wife, Eleanor, described him as hopelessly drunk and incoherent at times. He grew intensely paranoid and had attempted suicide at least once during this period, according to his last wife, Rufina.
Rufina?
Yeah, think about this. He's like, well, I'm in Moscow now. Time for the glory of my victory. And they're like, no, you stay in your fucking apartment, asshole. And he's like, well, can I get my wife and children? And they went, no.
Yeah.
Are you fucking insane?
And he's like, all right,
get in the apartment,
find
dickhead.
me a Ruski named Eleanor.
Exactly. So, well, it's some other defector or whatever. It's like, and
I love all the ways she described him. And I was like, why did you marry him?
Yes.
Things I love about Kim. He's hopelessly drunk and keeps trying to kill himself.
So eventually he died sad, disillusioned, and drunk.
Good.
He was awarded the prestigious Order of the Red Banner in 1965 and received a hero's funeral after his death.
Okay.
Despite claiming in public to have no regrets, his last wife, Rufina, stated that he was deeply disillusioned with what he found in the Soviet Union. He saw widespread suffering and consoled himself by reasoning that the ideals were right, but the way they were carried out was wrong. And he found it ironic that he'd given up everything for a state where people lived so badly.
Yeah.
He died of heart failure.
Pretty well documented.
Yeah. He died of heart failure in Moscow on May 11th, 1988, having drank himself to near death in his final years. And he was buried in Moscow.
He made it all the way to 88. That's good for him, I guess.
I guess. So, like, that's a story. That's a hell of a goddamn story, right?
I mean, I guess the one thing, hopefully he had, it sounds like he had some regrets at the end.
Yes, he was widely disillusioned.
But I mean, you did some horrible shit.
Yeah,
man.
you really
are responsible for what, at minimum, a couple dozen agent deaths.
Very, very minimum.
At most,
several
thousands.
Yeah. And well, not just agents, but like fucking civilians and anti-communists. Like the Catholic anti-Nazis, a lot of them were children.
Oh
There are
God.
families that were liquidated.
Yeah, I don't feel bad.
No, yeah.
I shouldn't have said good that he died, but I mean, don't feel bad about it.
He can eat a bag of dicks.
I don't feel bad about it.
What a fucking pompous cocksucker. But in any case, that's a legitimately boring man with a legitimately interesting life. He manufactured himself being boring. Even his adventures are a bit boring. There's a lot of the Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy fucking drama attached to it.
Yeah.
But it's all written on paper. As a movie, Gary Oldman would play him. You ever see Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy?
I did not.
It's exactly this. Gary Oldman would play him looking at sheets of paper, and the music would go like, and he'd shuffle some papers around, and then it would highlight a word that said like hidden in the forest.
Yeah. And then it would cut to children being murdered in Germany.
Probably not. No, it was just like, oh, England's very gray and everyone wears suits. And that's the whole movie for 3 hours. It's just Gary Oldman shuffling through papers.
Well, thank you for that that riveting breakdown of Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
That guy's boring as piss. Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. Rig-a-tig-a-tabby, bitch. Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy is actually a fantastic fucking movie, and I highly recommend it. Okay, so in keeping with our boring man crazy life, I wanted to at least counter this story with a different parallel.
Okay.
All right, so I'm traveling to America now, bumping up the timeline into the mid-'60s.
Okay.
All right, we're going to talk about a guy named Chuck Barris.
Chuck Barris.
Chuck Barris.
Okay.
You ever heard of Chuck Barris?
This sounds, yes. I recognize that name.
I think you wrote that song, My Ding-a-Ling.
That's Chuck Berry. This is Chuck Barris. Is your cousin Marvin Barris? So Chuck Barris was an American game show creator, producer, and host.
That's right. That's why I know that name.
He's also an author and songwriter.
Yes.
Yeah, he's responsible for the famed Gong Show.
Yes.
You guys know the Gong Show?
Yes.
Drew, you know the Gong Show?
No.
Well, for Drew and people
It
listening,
had a gong.
the Gong Show was an American game show that was essentially American Idol on a much smaller scale.
Mm-hmm.
You would bring up people who had particular talents, and there was a panel of celebrity hosts, and if the talents were good, they would let them pass with a prize or whatever. And then if they were bad, they would bang the gong. And the variety of talents that would come and go were often like pedantic, weird little bullshit. People playing the spoons or like.
So it's less like American Idol, more like America's Got Talent.
Yeah, it's kind of America's Got Talent.
They did revive the Gong Show recently.
Yeah, not too long ago. Actually, famously, one of the talents that got the gong was the Popsicle Twins. There was two attractive young twin ladies sucking on popsicles.
Oh.
It took a minute to get that gong to, but that was like there was outrage. Just these like fucking like cute teenagers fucking sucking on popsicles.
They're like, we have no talents. Let's work with what we have.
Yeah. So
we have talents. How do we demonstrate them?
Barris also
the talents we have are not made for TV. What can we use to tone it down a bit?
Wouldn't say they weren't made for film, just not TV. So Barris was known for creating some of the most iconic game shows of the 60s and 70s. You know, a couple of the game shows he invented along with the game show.
Newlywed Show?
He also did the dating game and the Newlywed Show. Yeah. He became a public figure in 1976 when he began hosting and producing the Gong Show. Mm-hmm. So he was already a behind-the-scenes guy, an office guy, an idea man, right? Really good at advertising, really good at getting people to finance things like the fucking Newlywed Game. Like, hey, here's a game. They got married. What do they know about each other? Probably fuck all.
Yeah.
The Newlywed Game has some good clip moments, I think.
Yeah, a lot of those questions were like so steeped in like metaphorical nuance.
And that
like
was kind of
sexual
Barris's sort of thing is kind of sleazy too. Like Family Feud style, you know, just like one of the questions I remember, like in that highlight of the most outrageous TV moments you might remember from like the 90s, is from the Newlywed Game. And the question is like, what's the most interesting place you've ever made whoopee?
Yeah, and the wife's like, in the ass?
Is that a thing that happened?
Yeah, literally.
Oh, that's
and
amazing.
Everyone like, whoa! And
yeah, the husband's just like, oh my God.
It was like the perfect moment for Steve Harvey to just go, "Glow."
Yeah, she just like, she takes a beat and she just like she's got this big smile on her face and she's like, in the ass?
But yeah, he became a public figure in 1976 when he began hosting and producing The Gong Show. It was a talent show parody that became a cult classic. He was known for his eccentric on-screen persona. He would often clap his hands together, make silly comments, do dances, do little skits, wear outfits, shit like that. Some of Barris's later shows, like Three's a Crowd, faced criticism for being in poor taste. Critics often derided him as the king of schlock. Barris was also an innovator.
Boy, they should see TV today.
Well, the thing is, like, the thing about Barris is that, like, he was a very shy and quiet person in regular life.
Okay.
You know, he never even had this level of, like, eccentricity and charm when he was pitching ideas. He pitched the ideas as an idea man. That's why, like, he would be successful because he'd be sincere and like, well, I just think that we could turn this profit margin into this.
Sure, but 4 fingers of scotch before the cameras start rolling.
Have a couple of drinks and get out there wearing a fucking, like, a zoot suit or something. Yeah. And he's like, hey, let's play the Gong Show.
Yeah. Let's make her say in the ass.
Barris is also an innovator in television syndication in 1972. After one of his shows was dropped by NBC, he bought back the rights and sold it directly to local stations, creating a new and successful business model for television. Like, he invented that idea of, like, oh, fucking, you don't want to air.
Yeah, network doesn't want it. There's lots of small.
You don't want to air Love Boat anymore? Well, UPN will. Yeah. Until 2010.
I was going to say, that's gone now.
So this is, you know, okay. This is an American success story in a few ways. A television personality, producer. In 1984, he released a memoir called Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, an unauthorized autobiography. Barris claimed that he secretly led a double life as a CIA assassin, carrying out missions overseas while maintaining his television career.
No.
The book's fantastical story was adapted into a 2002 film of the same name, directed by George Clooney, and starring Sam Rockwell as Barris. That movie fucks, by the way. That's not going on Bad Movie Please Fix. That is Good Movie Please Watch. Fucking Confessions of a Dangerous Mind is fucking sick. Okay. That's like the first movie where you see Sam Rockwell and you're like, well, this guy's really got it, huh? Okay. Great flick. But the idea of whether or not that's true or fiction is, I mean, okay.
Sounds like bullshit to me.
Pretty easy to dismiss. The CIA has denied Barris's claims. Like you would.
Right. That goes without saying.
With a spokesman calling the claims ridiculous and absolutely not true. Barris himself later gave conflicting answers, sometimes suggesting he made it up, and at other times refusing to deny it, adding it to the mystery. Many believe the story was an extended, darkly comic metaphor for his own personal demons and his ambivalence towards his career as the King of Schlock. So the reason I'm pairing these together is you have the one person living a very normal, flat life with a wild backstory. And then you have another one who is very quiet, genial man who's just living this fucking outwardly explosive existence.
His public life is crazy.
Yeah, to the point that, like, he can even if the CIA assassin story is nonsense, you can attribute it to, like, this is how he's processing his life. Like, he's fucking living such a bombastic thing that he can compare it to this sort of shit.
I don't think there's any way in hell that it's real.
You know, you wouldn't, would you? Barris also wrote the 1962 pop song Palisades Park, which became a hit for singer Freddie Cannon. Freddie Cannon.
Who?
Freddie Cannon? You've never heard Palisades Park by Freddie Cannon, 1962?
No, I feel like the way you just said that, you haven't either.
In his later life, he dealt with personal tragedy, released multiple memoirs, you know, what have you. But Barris's rise to fame as the creator and producer of iconic game shows like The Dating Game and The Newlyweds Game, as well as his time as the host of The Gong Show, really, like, amped up his living situation. So he was publicly in all areas, had to be kind of go in front of the cameras all the time. So he'd do interviews and wacky get-ups, or he'd have to be this personality. Well, outwardly, super outgoing, he'd be very reserved and even very depressed at home. The book's most sensational claim is that in the 1960s, Barris was recruited by the CIA and became a covert operative. He recounts traveling to exotic international locations under the guise of chaperoning winning game show contestants, only to be carrying out assassination missions. This is, to me, the strongest point of his story of being an assassin. Because he would choose the locations, he would set up the dates for the travel, he would chaperone people to the destination.
Weird.
Yeah, he'd fly out and be like, hey, we're going to go out to Turks and Caicos.
Yeah, if I win a game show and the prize is, you know, an all expense paid trip to fucking, you know, name a place,
Got this weird,
and the host of the show's like, I'm coming to chaperone you. I'd be like, fuck you.
He wouldn't be like, hey, I'm gonna go with you while you fuck your wife here or whatever. He'd just be like, hey, we need to get a clip of me like welcoming you to the resort or whatever. So in that time, he'd be able to fly out to like Turks and Caicos or I don't know, Wichita or wherever the fuck he needed to kill somebody. And he'd be like, yeah, here's your hotel room, bye. And then he'd fuck off for a day and go assassinate.
There's such an easy way to confirm that. It's how many unexplained assassinations happened in the locations where he was when he was there.
And are there any accounts of him being in the cuck chair in the hotel room?
I'm here to watch you fuck your wife.
Hey, it was the 70s, buddy. You know stuff was going down. Yeah, he'd be like, well, have fun in your hotel room. And then the couple would be like, wait, Chuck.
Yeah.
Stay.
Was he wiggling his eyebrows when he said, have fun in your hotel room?
Well, we're going to go.
Leaning in.
We're going to go in there and bang the gong. Why don't you come with us? My wife, Geraldine, she's a big fan. Okay, so.
Remember, my wife likes it in the ass, and she's got more holes than that, Chuck.
So the core of the book's narrative is the stark contrast between these two lives. Barris explores the stress and moral ambiguity of being both a public entertainer and a secret killer. Right, that's like the crux of the book is like, so hard to be an assassin and a game show host. Often using his CIA missions to spice up the book's pacing. The book's authenticity is often questioned.
Yeah, that sounds like he's just trying to get on the bestseller list.
But let's go over a couple of specific points from this book.
Okay.
In the book, Barris claims to have killed over 30 people and includes specific details about his missions and victims. This adds a sense of verisimilitude, even though the claims are unsubstantiated.
Okay.
The book's known for its irreverent and darkly comedic tone. So here's a few of these right here. One mission is called Helsinki Encounter. In Helsinki, Finland, Barris meets a beautiful and seductive fellow operative named Patricia Watson. Their encounter is filled with intrigue and romantic tension, adding a dash of noir-style espionage to the story.
Oh, God.
A date in West Germany. Barris details a mission where he uses his role as the chaperone for winning dating game contestants
to West Germany
to get into West Germany.
You're going to beautiful occupied Germany.
Maybe it's legit.
Right? I mean, like he claims his mission was to eliminate a rival spy, conveniently using the winners as a distraction while he did his covert work.
Okay.
The assassination of Hans Colbert. During another mission, Barris claims to have been involved in the assassination of a communist named Hans Colbert in West Berlin. He describes working with a German-American agent and being captured by the KGB before ultimately being released in a spy exchange.
What?
A major plotline in the book and the film adaptation involves Barris racing to expose a mole within the CIA who's killing other operatives. The mole is ultimately revealed to be his lover, Patricia Watson, whom he must eliminate.
So it's
stop with this James Bond. Yeah, absolutely.
The book culminates in a mission where Barris has to face his moral and professional conflicts head on, and in a climactic scene, he confronts and eliminates the mole, choosing to live his life with Penny, his devoted non-spy girlfriend, and embracing his identity as a TV mogul.
So these are all just rejected
fucking yawn.
Scripts.
Yeah.
These are all just rejected scripts from like the Mission Impossible TV series back in the whatever.
This is a guy. This is a guy who clearly had a very active imagination. Hence the shows that he came up with.
Well, those who knew him describe him as a shy, quiet, and well-read introvert who was deeply ambivalent about his television success. He's like, it's a living. So you just figure.
Okay, but I mean, like I said, he's clearly an imaginative guy.
Yeah, so like it's like the Secret Life of Walter Mitty, you know, like he's living this like, I fucking wish I wasn't working in television, Jesus Christ. And in his mind, he's like, but if I was a CIA assassin.
And I met Patricia in Finland.
Where do I get recruited for this shit?
Right?
I want to live a double life. And
you just do it, dude.
That sounds like somebody who's already doing that, Drew. Interviews with Barris reveal a serious and reflective man who was much more comfortable behind the scenes than in front of the camera. He was described as a quiet, introspective person. Despite his private nature, Barris could be unpredictable. He sometimes displayed a dark side that led people to describe him as a weasel or a wimp, but also gave him an air of unpredictability. Barris would say that was his cover.
Oh, I just act like a wimp.
Yes, exactly. So
No, I'm really super strong and brave.
Just to pair these two things together
Gotta
once
act
more.
like a fucking wuss.
There's Kim Philby living a life.
Don't punch me though, because I don't like that. I don't like that.
So there's Kim Philby
Keep my cover.
living the life of just a fucking boring piece of shit. Will constantly heart rate jacked, just like they're gonna find me, they're gonna kill me, they're gonna kill my children, and here's the other guy who's like, yeah, I'm a CIA assassin. I kill the fuck out of people. And he's at home. He's just reading books quietly, like, oh, fucking.
I still can't stop thinking about the winner of today's show will get an all expense paid trip to beautiful West Germany.
That's the only thing that gives me some pause.
I'm thinking of like where would be a game show like winning all expense paid trip that's like close enough.
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
to fucking West Germany?
Oh, no, there is no place really.
Amsterdam?
But even then, I mean, you got to get into West. You really pretty much got to fly into West Berlin if you want.
Absolutely.
And as Chuck Barris, the celebrity host, you had access to such places. It actually
would you?
It does kind of track.
Maybe it is a good cover.
It was the 70s, dude. Like fucking seriously, TV personalities.
See, like Russian soldiers who are like, no, let him in. It's Chuck Barris. Newlywed Game.
Exactly. That's exactly how that shit works. Like,
it's fine.
Did you ever see Argo? Do you know about
You'll ever see the wacky suit he wears when he does gong show?
Do you know the story about how during the Iranian hostage crisis, like a bunch of people who worked at the Iranian embassy were smuggled out by CIA operatives pretending to be a film crew?
That was like the whole point, like the whole plot line of Argo.
Yeah, exactly. So there was a film, they pretended to be a film crew scouting locations for like a second Star Wars.
Yeah. It wasn't Star Wars.
It was a Star Wars kind of
thing. Was it really?
Yeah, actually, storyboards done by the great Jack Kirby, creator of the Fantastic Four.
Nice.
Anyway, that's it. Bye.
Fail. Epic fail.
That's all I got. I don't know how to end this one.
The same way we end all of them. If you like this show, please get on whatever you're listening to. Give us 5 stars.
Dong.
Leave us a review. If you want to suggest any shows that you like to hear about,
the Newlywed Game, the Gong Show.
Send us a message at deleteeverythingpodcast@gmail.com and come join us on Patreon.
CUMM.
Ask Kaylee. Ask Kaylee how she likes it, and she'll tell you. I think maybe I don't know.
I feel like we're being creepy with Haley.
That was rough.
We don't even know Haley.
You should have brought up Haley right after I said come. And you should ask how she likes it.
If Haley's been listening to this show, she's not surprised.
Yeah, there's 2 reactions. Either you're deeply honored or deeply disturbed. One of the 2. Welcome to the family, Haley.
Anyway, we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye. Gong noise.
Gong noise.
That's what I'm gonna put in here.
Send through the stool boy for his buggering, his daily buggering. Now for the buggering. right now, actually.